Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to Autistic Eyes. I am your local photographer and someone on the autistic spectrum, Christopher Casson, and I just wanted to share my little journey here and discover more about the world. And another part of the world I'm discovering is business, of course, and that's why tonight we have Jeff Levin, owner of the starter of the Co-op Network, and also one of the co-producers of the next Impactor, which I was lucky enough to be a part of, and along with everyone else. So thank you so much for joining me here.
Oh yeah, this is awesome. It's my pleasure. I'm like a proud papa every time I'm around you, Chris.
Proud pop.
Proud papa.
Yep. Oh, man, someone's getting a lot of messages out there, huh? I could hear it.
You can hear my message?
Yeah, right through there.
Oh, it's muted. Oh wait, that was on my computer.
Yeah. Naughty.
How to turn that off, buddy? I'm on my computer for this.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So anyway, I just, of course, the topic is tonight, starting an idea and how it could transform into a great business. And of course, brain freeze. And hold on, it's just part of the whole me having Asperger's syndrome. Sometimes it's like a flood of questions and ideas coming in. It's like, which one do I pick? And
that's okay.
Because there's so many ways to take about this topic. So you know what? Let's start from the beginning, from where you start off, because everyone has that backstory. So how did your journey start going towards the entrepreneurial world?
Yeah, it's an interesting journey. It's probably similar to what many people have gone through, but I mean, I grew up in a family where, I was the first one to go to college in my family, and the first one to graduate. And the only thing I knew growing up was my dad worked in the steel industry. He worked really hard, local Northwest Indiana, and he saw engineers making lots of money and having longevity in their careers. And he said, "Jeff, you're smart enough to be an engineer. Go be an engineer." And so I said, "Okay." Without really knowing any better, I went to school and I was planning on being an engineer. I graduated as an electrical engineer, went and worked in the mills with my dad, starting off in my career. And as soon as I got into work for U.S. Steel, as soon as I started working there, about a year and a half after graduating, I was like 23, 24 years old. People said, "Oh, you got to go back to school and you got to get an MBA now." And I'm like, I don't want to go back to school. I just got done with school. I don't want to go back to school. But I ended up doing it. And instead of taking the easy route, where most people went local to, IUN or Purdue Cal or whatever, I went downtown and did the reverse commute for 3 years and got an MBA from Loyola in Chicago. And I had a professor there that he was similar to Jason, right? Jason Cisneros. Everybody knows Jason, but now similar to him, he did turnarounds. Real cool guy. Went to the same school that I did. He has an engineering background. He had an MBA, had a joint law degree, and I'm like, that's the first person I met that said, he seemed a lot like I was, and I said, I want to do something like that. And it kind of got me hooked on the whole entrepreneurship thing. And I ended up I took several classes, to specialize in entrepreneurship at Loyola. And, it just really turned me on. I started doing business plans for people at work, because if you're unfamiliar with what goes on in, especially in manufacturing, heavy industry, there's a lot of downtime, and everyone's running a business in those big companies. They all have side businesses. So I started doing business plans for people.
Interesting insight.
While I worked there. And I actually latched on, I think I told you this before, but I actually latched on to one of my vendors when I was running major projects at U.S. Steel was they were starting up, they owned an engineering company out of Portage, and they also bought the Orville Redenbacher plant. in Valparaiso. And you were talking about that somewhere. I remember I commented on it.
Yeah, it was me talking about the popcorn festival that goes on in Valpo.
Yep. And so
us locals call it Valpo, call the place Valpo. So
yeah. And so, so I actually I actually helped them start that up. I actually built their plan, start that up, all that good stuff. Right. And it was pretty cool experience. And then I also teamed up with another guy, and we started an engineering firm all while I was still working. So I helped people kind of start up those companies. And then I got real sick. And not many people know about this part of my story, but I got real sick after it was in 2001. And, I came down with a thing called Guillain-Barré syndrome. And that's where your immune system starts attacking itself. So essentially, you know how you feel when you're, when you sleep on your arm, you know how that tingling feeling is? Well,
the numb feeling.
That tingling feeling never stops, right? So it's like your nerves are being eaten at constantly. And what ended up happening was it started shutting down my body from my feet all the way up. Started going after my nerves and my organs and all this other stuff. And, it was real scary. And I was out of work for almost 2 months. I ended up recovering, obviously, but I had to learn to walk again. It took me, I don't know, 6 months to walk again. And when I got back going, I thought I couldn't go back to the same things that I was doing. At that time, I felt I had the power to really do a lot of great things. So I was searching, and I was contacted by a franchise, by a coaching franchise called Action International. And I ended up going through the franchise process and bought a franchise in 2003. And that's when I started coaching and consulting. And, and that was my trek into business. And I did that for 5, I went through the whole contract with Action, worked with lots of companies. I built a franchise from ground up, an outdoor lighting company. I ended up partnering with them and selling franchises, and built an international yoga training company through that process, and several other companies like the ones that we're used to in the co-op. And and through that process, I got ADD through that process too. And I started looking at my clients and saying, look, you guys don't do a lot of advertising and marketing. You guys do a lot of networking and word of mouth things. And so I ended up building a software system that was the first sense of coopratizing, which is, a lot of people know us as the Co-op Network, but co-op was short for coopratizing.
Yeah, I recall that you first called it Coopratizing Network, and then it changed to Co-op Network just to shorten it up.
Yes, because no one could say it. No one could say it. No one could spell it. No one could do anything. So, so I developed a system, and this was before cell phones. They weren't around. I developed the system to cross market to each other's databases through email, and it was called GrowthBot. And that was like the place to cooperatize. And what was interesting is how we see social media right now and how people interact. And how you share posts just like you just did, and got in front of other people's audiences and things. People could not comprehend back then when I came up with this, because there was no social media. So it was like, how in the world they couldn't do it. They couldn't use my system unless we did it for them. And so we spent literally like 6 years. I went through 3 iterations of GrowthPod, trying to get this so that the public could latch on and do it themselves. And we probably put $250,000 into that system. And and our last ditch effort was through the co-op. We literally said, okay, let's do this one more time. I was running out of money. We were burning through money, and I was about ready to go look for, things to do. And I said, okay, well, let's try one more thing. And I started this group. I started the group online where everybody's a part of now it's called Entrepreneurs Creating Impact. But I started that, and we literally did that to educate people on the concept.
And I'm guessing it's from your own personal experience that you decide, hey, this is something we need. Let's start and see how it evolves.
Yeah. And I'm going to share, and I'll share a lot of insight around this idea because I did it all wrong. And this was a huge learning. And I hope everyone watching doesn't have to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to go through what I did. But yeah, well, last ditch effort, we ended up growing this group pretty rapidly. And because it was so cool and there was a lot of energy, we decided to start pulling people together offline too, and that's when, all the offline stuff started occurring. We were bringing in, big name speakers. We were doing our events every other month when it first started. And, and then we monetized into a membership network, and then we sold programs and stuff like that. Now it's a little bit different, but the premise is still the same. In order to be able to utilize that's the system that I worked on, it all had to do with helping others first. If you didn't reach out and help somebody else by really what it boiled down to was promoting somebody else's business, then you're never going to get opportunities yourself. So that's where it all, Chris, you like that, Chris?
Yeah, Lisa, Jeff's wife, and funny enough, one of the things you guys talked about with the whole corporatizing network is the networking part, which you described the Lisa shower cake kind of gift. So maybe let's go off on what exactly that is.
So the shower cake idea. So that is okay. So in order to create opportunities to get in front of other people's audiences, which is what the system did and which is what we taught in the co-op, right? We asked people to kind of identify what your value was and who would need that, right? So the people that would need that are your prospects, your clients. So the example that we used all the time was, we also, Lisa, my wife, ran a cake business in the past. She did cake styling, those fancy triple tiered cakes with that disgusting fondant on it. Have you guys ever eaten?
Oh, my sweet tooth is aching.
It wouldn't, that fondant stuff is not made to eat. It's just pretty, but it's you can eat it. But the point is we ran this cake business, and the way that we got business was by giving away free shower cakes to photographers mainly. We did it with florists too, but mainly it was photographers to give to their clients. So when somebody came in and they bought a picture package, they got a free shower cake from the photographer, and they were ecstatic. They were just ecstatic about it. And of course, that led to business for us. So when we got the order for the free shower cake, because they had 14 days or something to contact us, then we also asked them, well, hey, do you have anybody that is providing your wedding cake? And would you mind if we, showed you what we can do from a wedding perspective? And so they got a free shower cake, but paid $1,200 for a wedding cake. So it was a pretty good deal. And we paid $0 in marketing. So, everybody's got that kind of value. And I think it's extremely powerful for, for people that run small businesses, that network a lot, don't have a huge marketing budget, which is every single small business on the planet. Nobody has an advertising budget typically. And you're aware of that based on the events.
Yeah.
We ask people, who here's got a budget of over $1,000, dollars in marketing, and everybody says, not me. So, everybody's got value. And if you can connect your value up with people that have your clients, all you got to do is be a gift so everybody can share you. And, that's all spelled out in our, that's all spelled out in the book, in my book.
Oh, you have a book? Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. Published a book.
I did publish a book, yeah. And I did the book just because so many people ask me these same questions like, what's a shower cake? How do I develop a shower cake? How do I leverage my shower cake? Well, I put the book together so people can go step by step through that, and and have at it. And I think we've probably given away anywhere between 5,000 and 10,000 of those books since I wrote it a couple years back. But it's pretty helpful for people that do a lot of networking.
Yeah, so let's of course we're getting deep into the discussion of, okay, we already gotten through the whole business and whatnot, so let's step back a bit towards okay, I have this idea and I think it could be good, but I'm not sure what the next step was, or whether it's going to garner that attention or latch on or not. So how would you say that I could start? Let's just say, for instance, okay, let's just go with a bakery then. So as an example.
Okay, so you have an idea for a business. Let's just go over some general things first. Okay, because this is, I told you I learned a lot through that whole growth pod experience, right? When I developed that company, I knew something. I did it with a premise that I knew something that people didn't know. So I built it and assumed that if I taught people it, they would do it, right? They would use it. So that's hard. That's the very, very, very hard way, and it's not tested. It didn't test the market. It was a cutting edge. We're ahead of our time. You're going to love this kind of thing, right? The way to build your business is to really have an understanding, first of all, what you want to do. So if you're a bakery, awesome. Whatever your company is, if you're a photographer, like you are, Chris.
Yep.
The next step, because it's really simple. If you can finish the sentence, we help these people get this desire. Okay. A lot of people can't answer that simple. They can't fill in those blanks because they're so general and they don't understand who their targets are and what their real desires are. Right. So even if you're a bakery, it's really important to understand who these people are that you're servicing through your bakery and what do they want, right? So you don't have a business if you don't have customers. And I know,
yeah, it's kind of hard to stay in business without customers.
There's no business without customers. It's not, it's there's no business. So, and the way to get customers is to really understand, like, what's the number one question on their brain, right? So, like, if you really know your people, you know what's going on in their lives, you know all the questions that they have, and then you form a business around being the answer to that question. You have a business, right? It's not the other way around. So most people, and the reason why I'm explaining this is most people don't have businesses. They just absolutely don't have businesses. So it's just really important to understand that because you got to make money in a business. The other second most important thing is if you want to get paid in money, which a lot of people want to get paid in money, right?
Yep.
Then
I don't want to be paid in Bitcoins, although that would be useful.
Yeah, a lot of people. So, like, if you want to be paid in money, then your return on investment needs to be in money. So whatever service you're providing or product or whatever, like they're buying something to save them time, save them money, gain them money. Like if your product, if you want to get paid, doesn't deliver that, good luck. Now, if it's something that's consumable or experiential, meaning like what you do things that preserve memories, right?
Yep.
They last forever. And what's that? It's worth whatever value you can build into that. So that's a little bit different. But like we have a lot of people, at least through the co-op and whatnot. We have a lot of people that come through that are doing intangible type services, like they have their coaches or consultants, right?
Yep.
And so I see a lot of people giving away their services, and then the return on investment is they get that. They get time. Yeah. They don't get money. They spend time, and they don't get the return that they're looking for. But if what you're providing saves, it costs them money, but it'll catapult them, and move them forward quicker to be able to not only get the return on that, but maybe 10, 20, 30, 40 fold, then you have a business, So that's what I'm saying. Like most people don't really have businesses. They just know that they don't want to go work for somebody else. And they'll do whatever.
That's how they usually start off. We want to, start off, suddenly go get rich quick like Mark Zuckerberg or whatnot, thinking that it's easy peasy, and it's not exactly as easy as you think.
Right.
Especially since, in the case of Mark Zuckerberg, he worked his butt off nightly just to be able to start off Facebook, and then it started becoming successful, and then all the news is saying, "Oh, it's suddenly instant," when it really wasn't behind the scenes.
Right.
So
Definitely. Yeah. And if you read any stories like Mark Zuckerberg or even Google or anybody else that's big, you know, the overnight successes, it usually takes 10 years to become an overnight success, you know?
yeah,
Like people, they work their butts off for years before something just kind of blossoms. Amazon, you know, you name it. It didn't happen overnight.
no, it didn't.
No, but everybody wants everything yesterday when they go into business. But there's an investment, guys. I mean, you know, we just spent the last year working on the next Impactor, and you know, there's zero investment or there's zero that comes out of it, but potentially a lot of opportunity, right?
Yeah,
If people aren't short sighted, they see the opportunity. But you know, a lot of people are just trying to replace the income that they had with their jobs or, you know, whatever their needs are with their expenses. And it's just not the same. And it's dangerous if you look at it that way.
yeah. Especially since it could easily put you into such amount of debt, bankruptcy, and then before you know it, you're living in your car or living in a homeless shelter, and then you start back with, okay, now what? How to move forward?
And guys, you know, and that's so in the co-op, we teach you to lead with your mission.
Yeah,
Like we help you identify a mission that's so clear and grand in your eyes so that if you were to live in that car, in that scenario, say you were forced to do that and you did go bankrupt or something happened and you had to go through and experience something like that, would most people continue on with what they do, or would they say, I need to go do something else at this point, right? Would I
yeah,
quit? And 99% of the people would quit at that point in time. But if your mission's for real, you can't quit. You absolutely can't quit. Too many people depend on you. And
yeah,
you know, and that's why to me it's so important to have something that is not about you, that you're striving for. Because you know, people let themselves down so much. It's easy to let yourself down.
yeah. That's the thing that people really need to keep in mind, is that something that I learned throughout the co-op network, and also, of course, Next Impactor, which of course we'll get into in a moment here. Be patient, but oh, excuse me. That came out out of nowhere. But yeah, what was I? Well, that distracted me. So continue.
There, Chris is awesome. Chris. Yeah, you're unbelievable, buddy. And I brag on you all the time. And you know, coming from where I met you, which was at our first event in Indiana, Chris was our photographer. He came in. He's one of my brother's friends, and thought it'd be a good idea to come there. I think it's probably one of your first times that you actually stepped out and did something like that.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, and he showed up, and there was a room. I think we probably had close to 100 people there, and Chris was doing headshots. You know, he set up, and I got there, and my brother came and introduced me to you, and you know, and I would have never pictured you doing doing these interviews right now.
Neither would I. Neither would I.
I met that day. You know, I mean, you've grown light years. You know, in the last whatever it was, a year and a half or so. You know, from that point in time. So, you know, it's super commendable. I'm sure you're inspiring people to death right now.
Yeah, I've been told that on occasion. I don't know why. I
Yeah,
just don't know.
you
I
can
just,
believe it. You got to believe that.
yeah. Well, it's definitely thanks to just not only a matter of, it's just a matter of me deciding to just go for it, really, at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Because no matter what, somewhere along the line, you're gonna end up with the quote unquote failure, but that depends on whether you actually halt and decide to give up, or you just continue on, which means that it's not a failure, it's just another lesson.
Right. Exactly.
Mhm.
You can't fail.
Mm.
Absolutely can't fail. Yeah. So, uh, once, so what do you want to go back into the whole business idea and stuff like that? Cause I think I got a
Yeah,
couple
because
here. Right.
we let's just say let's put a scenario. Continue with the bakery thing. So let's just say that okay, I have an idea. I'm on the plant-based diet, and I decide, you know what, there's not enough. You know what, there isn't a bakery in town that specializes enough in doing stuff that are, in, vegan and whatnot. So okay, let's start a vegan bakery. Decide all kinds of different sweets and whatnot, and just see how it goes. And for a lot of people, they tend to just spend all that money, pop it up, and then expect the customer to just come flocking in. But of course, that's not the way it goes. So,
No.
how would you say I'm coming to you? It's not doing as well as I was hoping. So, what would be the first steps, so to speak, and the process of continuing on from there? How would you consult me in doing the beginning steps of
Sure. No.
making it successful?
Yeah, no doubt. So, I mean, I already kind of clued in a bunch of, a bunch of things.
Yeah.
First of all, if I'm that vegan customer, what's going through my mind? How is the answer inside that bakery is number one. Because that's the premise behind all your marketing materials and everything else, right? And the what you name your company, and so on.
Mhm.
But the first thing that you need to do is set up your company. A
Yeah.
lot of people don't set their companies up. You better set up your company, establish it legally, go and get your EIN numbers, which is, the employee identification numbers that allow you to set up a business bank account so you can actually get paid.
Yeah.
When I first went into business, I was just told to do these things because I bought a franchise, and it makes complete sense. You create the space, even though you don't have any money coming in. If you have a bank account, you have the opportunity to have money coming in.
Yeah.
If you set up a credit card processing system, which at the time they had the swipers that I had to buy. Now you got Stripe and
Yep. Yeah,
Square.
we got Stripe and Square, even doing purchases through the phone, because I
Right.
still have that thing. Only, unfortunately for this, with the USB Type C, I have to have that silly little dongle flopping there with the card reader. But yeah.
Yeah. So just make sure that you're able, if you want to get paid, make sure you're able to get paid. It's a big deal. And again, like from an accounting standpoint, it's silly if you're in business and you're not established, and you shouldn't be established as a sole proprietor ever. There's too many
Why?
people who are using their own social security numbers.
Is there a particular reason towards that?
Yeah. Because,
Because for me, I'm an LLC, so
yeah, well, that's fine. So as long as you're not personally liable for anything that goes on through your company,
mhm.
that's the whole point of having a structure in place so that your personal assets are separated from your business assets. So there's several different types of structures to go for. It depends on what day it is. Everybody says there's a point in time where LLCs was the thing. Now it could be S corps. I had to establish. I've been a C corp forever. It's because of the way I went into business. And if you guys are, there's so many creative ways to go into business, but when I first started, I had to take the funds from I had a retirement, I had a 401k, I had all these things. That's where all my money was tied up. I structured so that I could utilize those funds to start my business. And I went through a company that specializes in that. So, but I had to be a C corp. So why did I do it? Because they told me to. Okay, but there is
just like I was told to go with LLC. So
LLC, right? And it was probably the right thing. So, most important, consult with an attorney, and they'll help you. It's worth it. And like I said, you should all have an accountant. So everyone that's in business, convince yourself that you actually own a business, and go out and get these people on your side, because you need them from start to finish. And even if you don't have money, guys, I mean, there's ways to align with people and help them achieve whatever goals they're trying to do, and they'll help you. Most of the time, it's easy. So the accountants will help you with your EIN numbers. They'll tell you where to go get them, or they'll help you with it, and you can set up your bank accounts, and then you're ready to rock and roll. Right? Very important. what I find is most people operate out of their personal bank accounts. They don't do the EIN step. They don't structure themselves, and therefore they don't take themselves serious enough to be a business owner for right from the start. That's commitment. So
yeah, commitment instead of doing everything, to put it crudely, half-assed. So, and when you do hit things half-assed, you get half-assed results.
Yes, exactly. When you're not 100% committed to anything, you might as well be not committed. Really, because it will not succeed if you're not 100% committed. If you got one foot out, if you're somebody that's waiting for something to crash all the time, it's going to crash and you're not going to have something there. So whatever it is, you got to be full on committed when you start this thing. So if you really believe that there's a market for vegan bakeries, which I'm sorry, all you vegan people, I would probably not be coming through the door.
Well, that would be another issue to deal with, of course.
Right. Yeah.
Of course, I haven't had anyone actually decline the brownies I make because
they just don't know what's in it.
Actually, there's nothing weird like black beans or anything like that. It's more like cocoa powder and like a dark chocolate bar crushed up and all that. And it's really, really. I've had my cousin tell me that this is something like she would expect from a gourmet restaurant. So it's just
That's
good. It's like nice.
Awesome. So is that something you're thinking about, a vegan bakery, Chris? Is this like for real? Is this not a hypothetical?
Further down the line, I have a lot more to do currently, but maybe in the later years where I feel like I want to settle down more, then it's an option.
That's cool. Okay. So, all right. So now we're structured, right? And so your names, when you think about your names, your products or your services, make sure that people know what the heck you do. Like for yours, vegan bakery would be very clear. It's a vegan bakery. I know if I'm vegan, I'm coming to the vegan bakery. It doesn't have to be cute or fancy or anything like that. Just make sure it has those words in it so people are clear about where they come.
Basically, as what we call in the graphic design world, at the very least, the KISS method, which stands for keep it simple, stupid.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. So, and then the methods for driving traffic, there are endless methods to drive traffic into businesses, endless. And I can go through a few of them. But there's one important thing that people need to understand. If you can picture, and I use this analogy all the time, I draw a stick figure standing on a diving board. Okay, so I got the steps going up, diving board, one dude, and if that board breaks, he comes crashing down, right? So the only thing that's stabilizing him are the steps. So that's most people's businesses, by the way. They have one method of driving in business. Maybe they have half a method of driving in business. So if that fails, they don't, what do I do? So it's really important to have like multiple strategies going on of how you're driving traffic so that if one's not doing well, you got other things that drive it in. Now that being said, there's so many ways to do it, right? I'm a big fan of using other people's money or other people's traffic to get what I want. Okay. So is there
a particular reason for that one, or
because they've already built everything that people say. Like you think about what people say when they, like, people will not do business unless they what? What do you always hear people say? Oh, my customer, like, no one will do business with you unless they blank, blank, and blank. It's always the three things. What do you think those are? No, like, and trust. That's what I gave it to you, Chris. But it's like, that's what everybody says. It's like, it's the whole mentality of the referral process, the loyalty process. It doesn't matter. It's always word of mouth, right? Everybody, if you talk to anybody, if we were to poll people that are watching this, they would most of them would say that I get all my business from word of mouth. Like most people would say that.
Money.
Seriously. Money. Okay. So yeah,
no,
they have
like interest.
But Lisa's heard this so many times. She cheated. That's just cheating.
Cheater in the family.
I'm just kidding. But Yeah. So when you think about it, if other people, like if you're able to tap into other people's customer base or networks or whatever, they already know and trust you. So like right now, if I want to tap into your network, and I just came and I said, hey, you got to come check out this vegan bakery. I want to give you a free cupcake. Come on over, for your free cupcake. They're gonna come because they trust you. And then I'm going to get the value of that trust with traffic that comes through my doors. That strategy costs you nothing except a cupcake, right? And cupcakes probably cost what, 20 cents to make, maybe, I don't even know, 15, 20 cents to make. And, so they come into your door and you're able to, people don't buy one of anything. They buy probably a dozen of them and you just profited from that. So like, I'm big on guerrilla marketing tactics, which is, how can I get the most exposure for as less as I can or free. And I just know there's so many people that are they're looking for creative ways to drive in traffic. Like we worked with Everything Bundt Cake. You ever heard of that store? So they're similar. It's a little bakery and they have bun cakes. And so that we met them through the Peanut Butter Challenge, which is, something that we do through the co-op network. And we raised like 1 million meals last year. And the store owner was, they're looking for ways to drive traffic in, and they're also helping us raise peanut butter. And so, they did something cute with peanut butter bun cakes where they gave away, a bun cake to come through the door. And they gave other people that opportunity to do the same thing, peanut butter bun cake. And people come in.
Peanut butter bun cake?
Yeah.
Is it like a peanut butter frosting on it? Or
I'm
kind of curious.
I think it was baked in. I think it was like a peanut butter flavored chocolate peanut butter bun cake kind of thing.
Stomach growling.
Yeah, so taking advantage of anytime you can utilize the the rapport that people have built. So if you get somebody in your area, because it's more, when you talk about a vegan bakery, for the most part, it's probably local traffic that you're working with. So it's probably in a downtown area, where there's other stores, or there's always a strip mall or something, right? There's other stores around that all have traffic, right? They're all paying for traffic. Most of these stores are advertising, so they have traffic coming through their doors. Now, what you ask is like, okay, so if I went to this place next to me, what do I have of value that will get these guys to share something from my business? So they're walking in this place, but then they're going to come over next door to come in my place too. They already paid for traffic. All you have to do is have value that they can hand out in their stores to get them to come over to your store, right? So you think about it. If there's 10 stores in that mall, they're all paying for traffic. All you got to do is be able to provide value to them to give to their customers. They're going to make their customers really happy, and you're going to get their traffic. So, that's cooperating, guys. I mean, in a nutshell, that's how it works. That's just one way to make it work, because it's all about building, traffic and distribution for your business. When you have distribution, you got a business.
And then we got a random question here. How do you price your services?
Okay, so this is an interesting piece of feedback. So, it depends on the kind of business you have, but if you do a little bit of market research, you'll be able to see what other people are charging for the same things that you're doing, right? You'll see patterns in similar products, and that's where I would start. So, if you're selling, cupcakes or whatever, vegan brownies or whatever it is, somebody else is selling brownies somewhere, and so you just do a little bit of research and see what their price point is. It doesn't mean that needs to be your price point, but you can just see where they're at. And then you look at, if you're able to add value to what that price level is, people will pay anything for anything. They just need to know that it has the value packed into it. But there are patterns. So like you've probably seen like, $9.99 or $9.97, something $49, or, there's
Yeah, just short of the $10
yeah,
thing, and I know there's a reason behind that. So.
yeah, it's just people don't think they're spending the extra, whatever. Like, so if it's $999, people in their mind they're thinking like it's $900 when they're $1 off from $1,000. So everybody's got different theories around that. It does work. So like in consulting, or big ticket packages, I don't know what kind of business you have, Greta, but if you post the kind of company you have, I could probably help you price it right here.
Hmm.
And so, like there's definitely a pricing ladder for different types of services, and how to sell them is a whole different ballgame. But like,
Yeah, that's a future episode.
yeah, because it's really so. Like, rule of thumb, if you're selling things online, obviously free gets people in the door. You get something under $20 as like a low cost, no brainer kind of thing. It's like a bump sell kind of thing, to where, okay, you got the free thing, but hey, while you're here, hey, for $17, I'll give you the workbook that comes with it or something, like, and that's a way to get people to spend money. So if you think about it, they've made a commitment, then they've made a purchase. And once they make that initial purchase, it doesn't matter how much it is. Now they're comfortable. They're going to be comfortable making more purchases with you. So even though they come in, like most of the time they come in payroll certification training. So can you explain what that is real quick? Are you certifying people that do payroll? And what does that entail? Love to know a couple more questions, and then maybe I can help you. And let me know what your pricing is right now too. But so you get them to make that initial purchase. You already have two commitments, and so typically what you see is someone going from like a $17 price range to it could go to 97 or like 140, like 147 at the next level of purchase, and then it bumps up to like 497. After 497, you're not going to sell anything online. You have to, you can't. It's going to be really hard to sell it online. You probably have to take them.
Hey, Lauren.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool. So, yeah. So
Yeah.
pricing strategy is really interesting, and the biggest thing. So I'll say this as a blanket statement: you can charge anything you want for your services or products. You can charge anything you want, but it's got to be stacked with so much value. We're talking about brownies. That's different. But if we're talking about like, your products or services, hopefully you can return, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 times, what you're charging to make it a no-brainer to make the investment. So, and how to sell that, that's a whole different conversation too. But
yeah, especially since we have Lauren Harris here, who both of you are actually co-producers of the next Impactor, which you started earlier this year, that I was lucky to be a part of. So from that perspective, I'm kind of curious on. I'm sure everyone was curious on how it started, so to speak, and see how it evolved into what it now is, going into the second season, which I believe is it signups right now?
Yeah, there's a lot going on right now. That's up in the air, but it basically started. So we work with a lot of people that are impactful people, right? People usually come through and they're feeling like they want to do more. They just don't know what that looks like. They want to be about more. Everybody wants to serve others. Everybody wants to help other people. They also want to grow companies. So, a lot of people have come through the co-op. We've had thousands of people come through over the last 4 or 5 years. And, so helping people not only flip that switch, but, using that to build up themselves as that impactful person, to be able to position them as a leader in their communities and ultimately whatever else they're doing in their profession. In our case, we were focused on business people, And I always say, like, if you build an impactful brand, you can do anything you want. I don't care what it is. Like, if you lead with your mission, if you have an impactful mission, you're out there to serve and help us, your specific population. Like in your case, when I'll never forget the light bulb. I saw the light bulb go off in your head, man.
Yeah, that was at one of his co-op events, actually.
Yeah,
I believe it was before the whole sign up of Next Impactor, wasn't it?
yeah, I mean, you literally had a light bulb go off. It's like you knew you had something to do with the autistic population, but it was like, what is it? Banging the head against the wall. And Chris is a super artistic person. If you've never seen his work, check out his photography, check out his artwork. He's just an artistic person, and he's got the ability to capture people in moments. Like, he's been, like, I've had a lot of people shoot our events before, and I never got any good. I was like, man, you can't get a good shot of me. Am I that? I know there's photogenic people, but man, and when Chris shot me, he got me he always got me in the good spots, and from an autistic standpoint, to me, and this is just me, putting words in your mouth, but I think that you would be happier just sitting back and capturing the moments than having any interaction most of the time. But being able to express yourself through that, through that channel, and so it's like, well, Chris, most people don't even see that in autistic kids. They're always like, oh, you poor thing, right?
Yeah.
You poor thing. Oh, it must be so, so bad, whatever. And it's like, no, why don't we change this word, number one, because it's got a bad connotation with it. Let's turn it into artism, and as soon as that was said, you could literally see the light bulb go on. And this was after an event, and I'm sure you were banging your head the whole time during the event. It was like right after it, and then we went over and introduced you to, I think might have been Kim Lechnick or somebody. But we said, hey, what do you think about this? Kim, Chris is going to turn the word autism, into artism. How cool is that? And being that example for a whole population of people that have no idea what they're going to do when they grow up, or how they're going to function as adults. You're showing them the way. So when I see people
in the
like
process of showing the way, but
but you are. And what's cool, and we saw it a little bit at the last event, and at the Next Impact finale, and all, the whole thing, man, you are not only being an example for those guys, inside the autistic world, but holy moly, you inspire everybody outside to be better, and that's just a byproduct of that. So, that is the kind of stuff that I want. I want that, and only that, everywhere we go. And you can write the ticket from that point forward, because you're that person that did that. I wanted to create a platform that allowed people to see people like you, allow people to, to say, oh, that's possible. I thought I had to go to work, and do whatever, my parents told me to do when growing up, or whatever schools.
Going the 9 to 5 route, go up in the corporate ladder and blah, blah, blah. And that's not for everyone.
We wanted to create a platform. Lauren had Lauren was in the same space, and so I thought, why not work together with someone that's doing similar things, and see how we can, really put that on the forefront. And
while enjoying a good pizza.
And of course, when you have a good prize dangling out there, you get people to respond, and and there you go. But that was the point of doing that, is to be able to showcase people that are about so much more than what the rest of the world's about. And I really feel like that's what we need. I know that's what we need. That's why we started the co-op, and so it's just another opportunity for us to showcase what I think, what I think the world needs.
Let's see. For me, I'm thinking we could use more leaders out there. So
we can, but think about it. Do you think that most people think,
Yeah, Lauren seems to be hinting at something. I wonder what that is with the next Impactor brand.
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. So,
Hint?
so anyway,
No, I guess not. Okay. Anyway.
yeah. So that's that's how everything kind of started.
Yeah, man, is it? No, I'm just checking the clock here. Time flies. Time flies. So it makes me wonder what's next in Jeff Levin's life moving forward.
Yeah, just more exciting things, Chris. I mean, it's
Hint? Hint?
yeah,
A
right.
little bit of a crumb?
No,
A little bit of a brownie crumb?
no. We're just
Aw.
moving forward. I mean, right now I'm focused on really building up our community. We're creating a, if you guys are able to go, I don't know if you put up the link, but if you join our online community, we've really
Yep.
opened things up to make this truly what it's meant to be, and that's a community born by others for others. And so we've opened up the opportunity um, to educate, to share your impact. We're filling up time slots in our community, and we're really creating a platform that other people can really benefit from. So we spend a lot of time.
Yep.
Yeah, we're spending a lot of time. Uh,
Oh, Lauren has decided to give the hint instead.
that's good. It's
I
good for
just
me.
have to watch his show tomorrow. Lauren Harris does morning live streams called Bathrobe Moments, where he brings in different guests and just have all kinds of different topics, just like this show. Only for me, it's more of a artistic perspective, so to speak. So anyway, back to what he was just talking about. It's the Co-op Network. The link is bit.ly. That's bit.ly/co-op network. And of course, since Lauren has just discussed about it, here's to learn more about the Next Impactor. It's www.thenextimpactor.com. So,
Yeah.
sounds like it's going to be quite an exciting second season, huh?
Let's see. So yeah. So if anybody's looking to promote their company, or or looking to align with people that are really about other people, you're welcome to join the community. We've got, I think we're at about 4,400 people and growing. So we'd love to have you guys online. So that's bit.ly/co-op network, and we'll see you inside.
Yes, and I just want to thank Jeff Levin for taking the time to join us. It feels like a complete timeline, actually, of going from, okay, we have the idea, and now we're like full steam ahead kind of progress here. So
Yeah.
I want to thank you for the time for that, and I want to thank everyone that was able to join us. And there goes the brain freeze again. So any last words while my mind decides to reboot?
No, I appreciate your time, Chris.
Yes. Yeah, the show will be a season 2 already being created. Good, because that was an awesome experience, and it suddenly pushed me forward more than I ever thought I would. And I have you and Lauren to thank for that. You, and especially you, with starting the Co-op Network, because all of this just string back to that one decision you made of, okay, I want to help other people become successful business owners. So thank you.
Yeah, no problem, buddy.
So yeah, join us next week on Wednesday, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, which we will be discussing a different topic with one of the contestants of the next Impactor with the first season, Heidi Gabriella. I'm saying that right. Yeah, Heidi Gabriella, and that should definitely be fun. And hopefully by time I'll have a new intro popping up here. So
Cool, man.
thank you guys for watching, and see you next time. Take care.
Thanks, Chris.